Alright guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at COREWEAVE. It's been a while, so last time July 30th, so it's been exactly 1 month since we have looked at this name. And I'm looking at this name. Okay, so let's go through option activity, all those dark pools, all those F13 filings, and at the same time price action. So in terms of the price, yeah, after hitting these highs of a 187, this was essentially 50% decline back to these $90 levels, right? It's from Y to $187. So at the same time, I was talking about right here that the stock could go to double digits, and after reporting earnings or pre-earnings, it had sort of this squeeze which was pretty fastly dumped right back into zone. So now this 103, this is the resistance area I'm watching. I don't know if it's going to break out and try to go higher, but if it tries to do it fast, well, I'm going to expect more sellers from here to show up, because we know in the last 2 months or so, there were a lot of sellers in this name. Every pop was getting sold off. Even if I think last time when I talked about this one, I showed it like this, where only a couple days of a green day or lower open or higher close. That's another way of saying it. Yeah, it might have had more green days, but the point is, anytime it was opening higher, it was getting sold off for about like months and a half or so. And the same thing right here. After squeezing a little bit, it got flushed down in a pretty fast fashion after reporting earnings. Now chopped around these $88, $90 lows and back into $100 area. So first resistance, 20-day moving average, 106, 107. Then the price target next level would be for me that 50-day moving average, somewhere around 120, 125. At the moment, 125. So if it tries to get back above it, sure, I can expect it to go to those levels and maybe reject from there. But if it cracks 88, which is I'm watching, I can expect this name go straight back down to the breakout area of this $60, $61 area. Okay, so that's the price levels. Another thing I want to show is a lot of people like 13Fs. Yeah, we know there were a lot of buys, but a lot of people don't understand that those filings are for quarter that was ended in June, so pretty much for Q2. So in Q1, this stock existed for only 2 days. After going public right there, it was only for 2 days in Q1. That's when it traded, that's when Nvidia bought, and then after anybody else that increased their position, I want to show it like this. Let's go like this all the way to June 30th. So all those filings that you guys are seeing are coming from this zone. Okay, so do you see this big square zone where the stock pretty much went from 33 to 187 all the way, and it closed the quarter right there at 160. This is the area. This is where all those buys happened. Okay, and then anything that happened here, all those funds that are, some even going 100% their portfolio. Of course, these two guys could be like insiders. They own like pretty big chunks, but everybody else who increased their position, of course, you can just go take a look at it yourself. What is the whalewisdom.com 13F filings? And of course, there are people who trimmed their position, 20% of their position. FMR, Blackstone, 39% of their position. Another fund, 78%, 91%, 92%, because they had pretty good low prices. 37 their average cost, 37, and it made sense for them to take a profit. But anybody who didn't do it, or who didn't want to show it on their filings, they could have done it somewhere here. they could have loaded and they could have started taking a profit right here. Okay, so but you will find out about that quarter after September end and then plus 45 days. That's what happened. That's what they do. They essentially, a lot of funds give themselves at least 30 days. They don't file it early, and this is what happened with this CoreWeave's case, right? Nvidia does it pretty much at the end, the latest possible for them to file that 13F. And yeah, they bought a little bit more, and people were excited about that. But again, this company reported a loss, and this company is worth $50 billion valuation. Okay, and then another thing I want to show here is this one is essentially buys, in my opinion. If a lot of people thought that this is a pretty good dip right there, I'm seeing so many orders. It could be just rebalancing as well, and also the pretty big orders actually. If price resolves higher than this level of 106, 107, I want to say, then yeah, these are all dip buyers, and the stock could go higher. And just to give you a few examples, like these are very large orders, like 133 million, 96 million, 86 million. Yeah, they're so much of a cluster. But when these kind of orders come at the top right there, where I consider them as profit takers or sellers, where price doesn't resolve higher, but it just resolves lower. It just keeps going lower. So for me, yeah, possible. This is, some people could be buying the dip. Let's zoom in a little bit more. That could be it, or more people could be selling. I don't know. But again, it's just price. I want to see it in the next couple of weeks. Where does price resolve? If price goes lower than these all clusters, yeah, I would consider them as sellers, and price might go lower. But another thing I want to show, option activity. There are a lot of, well, when stock price started pretty much going high right there from 92 all the way to 102, 2 days in a row, you saw like call buying activity. More people were buying calls, puts were getting sold. The red lines right there are sold, puts. And then last day on Friday, I want to show where this stock pretty much dipped with overall market, where I saw more put buying that Friday, and then a lot of people were selling calls. And then into the end of the day, more people started buying a little bit of a calls. But yeah, that's what I'm watching essentially for CoreWeave. In terms of like chart, yeah, short term 5-day above its, if it holds 5-day moving average, this gray line, I'm bullish for any stock that holds 5-day and 5-day starts curling higher. But if it fails, if it goes lower, I mean, if I zoom out a little bit more, this stock is in a downtrend, ultra short term. But since its IPO price, yeah, it is still making, I mean, it's still doing pretty good. So it's still after IPO 150% up. Okay, so it's still doing pretty good in that sense. But volume, again, yeah, volume was pretty high too. So gotta be careful with this one if it tries to chop around and then maybe fades again, considering how many bank holders are here. So if it tries to go right back into this zone pretty quickly, yeah, these sellers will show up. All these like bank holders will show up, and they pretty much try to get out for break even. But again, this is just purely my opinion. This is just purely for educational entertainment purposes only. I don't have any position. I'm not trading it. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.